guys, Bizzily here. And for the longest time, sorceries are said to be the most broken things in these games, and the use of them in runs have been very contentious in the community, with tensions being so high that some people straight up think that if you use them in your run, you didn't actually beat the game. And all I have to say is, Jesus Christ, go outside. But I've never really used magic since, I'm a great sword enjoyer, so I wanted to test them out to see if what everyone was saying about them was true. So let's see, can you beat Dark Souls 3 with only sorceries? But we gotta lay some ground rules. Rule 1, only sorceries can be used to damage enemies. Rule 2, no shields may be used for blocking, they may only be used for parrying or for putting on your back for effects. And Rule 3, I must kill all bosses, because I bet you're all just dying to know how sorceries fare against the champion Gravetender. I chose the sorcerer because of his huge brain, and I was gonna name my character Magic Man, because this is a magic run, but I decided to ask my friends to name my character, and they gave me the name Josh's Goons. Yep, well, it could have been worse. I emerge from my coffin slumber and take a look at my 2 spells, which are Soul Arrow, just your standard magic spell. You shoot a projectile at your target, it does damage, nothing much to see here. We then have Heavy Soul Arrow, which is just like regular Soul Arrow, but it does more damage, but it has a longer casting time. Hey, at least we actually start off with a spell this time. There is one more thing that the sorcerer class starts off with, and that's a ring called the Young Dragon Ring, which will increase sorcery damage by 12%. It's a standard boost for now, but the damage increase will probably become a lot more noticeable when our sorceries start doing a lot more damage. And now that we got the formalities out the way, let's use our new tools on our Nidux Gundyr. The main gimmick of spells are really simple. Instead of being up close and personal like a physical build would want you to be, magic encourages a more passive playstyle, where you hang in the back trying to find windows at your enemies with your spells. That doesn't mean you can just wail on them for free. You still have to watch out for any lunges that the boss may do, which I wasn't thinking about, which led me to getting... yeah. Sure not excited to see that brung up in the comments. But in my second try, I didn't like the damage we were doing with Soul Arrow and decided to try Heavy Soul Arrow. And man, does this spell absolutely obliterate this boss, leading to a swift end to Gundyr. Man, hope we never see that guy again. I run over to Firelink, did the tree skip to grab the Estus chart and the Covenant Silver Serpent Ring for more souls, upgraded my healing, and went to the High Wall of Lothric. Nothing much happened. I went through the area soul arrowing anyone who looked at me funny, but I hope that I can find a close range spell soon, because if any enemy just runs up on you, there's little you can do to stop it. So after making sure to grab any upgrade materials that I could, I made my way to Vort. Again, nothing much to say here. You've got to be kidding me. But yeah, what's funny is that unironically, the best strat is to just stay close to him, since he will just whiff most of his attacks. And after a couple of pew, 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 Vort goes down. I then use the souls to upgrade my vigor, since my character is really squishy, and I feel like I'll regret it if I don't put some points in the health early on. I then upgraded my flask, allocated my Estus for more FP, grabbed the banner, and take the Demon Airlines to the Undead Settlement. And after dealing with my favorite enemies in Dark Souls, I made my way and found Yol of Londor, and recruit him to the Firelink Shrine. And you may be asking, why exactly do I need him? Well, let's just say, that'll be a surprise tool that will help us later. Nothing much happened in the Undead Settlement, aside from grabbing some Estus shards and a Titanite shard, so I just run through all... Oh, come on. All the way to the Road of Sacrifice. Again, Same as before, grabbed some Titanite shards. I also made some pit stops to grab the Sage Ring to improve my pretty slow casting speed, grabbed the Grass Crest Shield for better stamina recovery, and an Estus shard that I forgot existed. Over hundreds of hours in this game and I'm still finding new stuff. I then went all the way to Orbeck. Finally! A person of equal of intelligence to mine. These plebeians can cast a Pharaon dart even if they spent their whole lives trying. After recruiting him, I got kicked down a ladder and made my way to Pharaon Keep. Same old, same old. Went around grabbing some upgrade materials. To get it over with, I went ahead and extinguished all the flames, and after trudging my way through the poison swamp, thanks Miyazaki, I grabbed the Crown of Dusk, which when worn will increase spell damage by 10%, but at the cost of decreasing absorption by -5%. Shouldn't be too bad since we'll be shooting from afar anyways. Now I just had... Well, joke's on you! I need to get back to Firelink anyway. After getting transported back, I used the materials that I gained to make my Sorcerer's Staff +2. I then went and talked to Orbeck, and he'll be our main plug for magic spells in this run. And while he has a lot of spells to choose from, the main one I got from him was Great Soul Arrow. It's just regular Soul Arrow, but stronger. Moving on. I then upgraded my healing and popped some souls to increase my vigor to 15 and my intelligence to 18. I then grabbed the Dream Chaser's Ashes for infinite Titanite shards and fought the Stone Demon. He wasn't hard. All I did was... Bro. All I did was... Dude, how? All I did was use Heavy Soul Arrow and the Stone Demon goes down. Dude, why did I get Great Soul Arrow if I was never going to use it in the fight? Anyways, I went to the back to kill the 2 Titanite lizards for their large Titanite shards, and went back to Orbeck to buy Great Heavy Soul Arrow. It's Heavy Soul Arrow, but great! Man, is this all spells have to offer? I then gave the handmaid the Dream Chaser's Ashes, and bought 2 Titanite shards so I could make my Sorcerer's Staff +4. And it's time to fight our next boss, the Curse Rotted Greatwood. At first I was scared I wouldn't have enough damage to finish the fight, but after popping his pus balls and doing 1000 damage, my worries subsided. And after chaining another pus pop, we moved to phase 2. And after popping the pus balls all around his body, I just stayed back and spammed Great Heavy Soul Arrow on his front. And after some pewing later, Curse Rotted Greatwood goes down. Wait, is pewing even a word? After the fight, I immediately went to Pharaon Keep and fought the Abyss Watchers. We actually do really good damage with our Great Heavy Soul Arrow, and it's really easy to find windows in between its attacks where I can use my spells. Even the second one that gets summoned is a pushover, since we can take it down in like 2 shots. Didn't stop me from dying to it though. Like, come on, man. But we eventually get to phase 2. Not too bad. Guys, I swear I'm throwing for content. But seriously, the second phase is just a game of keep away and finding moments in between his attacks to strike. And after a lot of magic spam, Abyss Watchers go down. Good, but things are just getting started. I head back to Pharaon Keep to get the Sage's Scroll, and then gave it to Orbeck. Now this scroll will expand the amount of spells that Orbeck will sell to you, but the main one I want was Great Pharaon Dart. It's like the dagger of the magic spells. It will shoot out a quick magic bolt at your enemies, and while admittedly it doesn't do too much damage, its strength lies in the fact that you can be highly mobile when fighting enemies. The reason we got this spell will become apparent later. I then used the souls from the Abyss Watcher to put 4 points in the vigor and intelligence because, again, I feel like the health increase is going to be really helpful later. I then upgraded my flask and made my way to the Bone Zone. Again, nothing interesting happened, just went through the area grabbing any upgrade materials that I could. After getting flattened by a skeleton bowling ball and double teamed by the skeleton bros, I then went down the bridge ladder and decided to take a vacation at the well-acclaimed Smoldering Lake. Free upgrade materials and a free hot tub? What more can you ask for? Oh. 0 stars. There is literally a ballista that shoots at you while you stay here. I mean, at least it's good at killing worms. Fine. I'll give it a 1 star. Take it or leave it. I then used the large Titanite shards to upgrade my sorcerer staff to +6, upgraded my healing, and fearing that my FP bar will be too low for the upcoming bosses, I put some points into attunement. And unsatisfied with my stay at the Smoldering Lake, I decided to take it up to the building manager. Hey man, the service here was absolutely unacceptable. I want a refund. Now, old Demon King wasn't too bad. He'd swing, I'd dodge, I'd find windows to do damage. The only thing that kinda had me worried were his ranged fire attacks and his overhead slams. Like, my dude, just give me the refund and I'll be out of your hair. He then kindly told me about his no refund policy, so I kindly took his life policy. Old Demon King down. I then used the souls to pump 5 points into intelligence for more damage, and man, that result sure did make me parched. Ooh, a free drink. Something tells me this isn't a regular drink. I get transported into the abyss and fight High Lord Wolnir. And this fight was super mechanically challenging and difficult. It required me to do multiple attempts across multiple hours to beat this boss. And no, I just freed Dave his 3 bracelets till he died.
Whatever, I'm gonna go play Silk Song.
I then used the souls to increase my health and intelligence and went to the Road of Sacrifice. Now during this run, the Crystal Sage was the early game boss I was dreading the most, and for good reason, since this boss sports a massive 40% resistance to magic damage. What's even worse is that this is the early game, so a resistance that high to our only source of damage is going to be rough. It's the reason I delayed this boss till now, because I wanted to make my character as strong as possible before taking on this challenge. But to be honest, the fight wasn't that bad. The first phase was pretty simple, just dodge his spells and counterattack, and if you're able to catch him when he teleports, you can immediately start hitting him with your spells, which will stun him, not allowing him to cast anything. And that leads us to phase 2. And while sure, I did die a couple times, I still felt like the second phase was pretty manageable. Maybe it's just because Great Pharaoh Dart was a really good way of getting rid of the clones, because it's fast and allowed me to stay mobile. And after taking down all of his clones, I just wail on the real crystal stage and rinse and repeat till he goes down. Now you can actually transpose the Crystal Sage soul for a spell called Crystal Hail. It sends a magic orb in the sky that will rain down magic bullets on your enemies. And I assure you, this will be critical for the challenges ahead. Just trust me. Man, that lie was so heinous I think I need to go pray. I then grabbed the Essence Shard and head through the back alleys to grab the Saint Tree Bellvine, which when held in your offhand will improve your casting speed. I then grabbed the Titanite Shard and Undead Bone Shard and made my way inside the cathedral. Hopefully these guys will be a lot more accepting than the ones at the Smoldering Lake Resort. After dodging a giant, I grabbed the Lloyd Sword Ring, which will increase my damage when I'm at full HP, and then I did the very smart decision of never equipping the ring. Hey man, I said I did challenge runs, not that I was good at them. Hopefully I can remedy my status by killing the deacons. Now first attempt did not go so great, since the casting speed for spells took so long, add on the fact that they have a 44% resistance to magic, which made killing them a hassle, and you know what's really cool? The fact that if you don't kill the possessed deacon fast enough, the possession will just move to someone else. And the worst part was since my spells do straight single target damage, there would be times where the deacons would just huddle up and there was nothing I could do since the deacons would just block my spells. And after a long enough time, I ran out of FP, which made me have to kill myself to deacons. Cut the camera. Bizzily, cut the camera! But it wasn't in vain though, because I have a plan, and it involves our little mouse tool from earlier. Oh, yo, buddy, I need you. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. So it turns out if you kill Abyss Watchers before drawing out your true strength, you'll die. But don't worry, viewers, there's an alternative way to get the spell that we need. And it comes from our good friend Orbeck. Going to him, we get the Soul Greatsword. You make a magic sword that you swing in front of you. Perfect spell to deal with deacons. And I was correct. The wide sweeping motions of the sword allows us to make quick work of the deacons. It's kind of crazy how much Deacons suffer from AoE attacks, and after slicing and dicing the Deacon's head, Deacons goes down. What? And after slicing... Dude, what? I didn't know crashing my game was also part of the Deacon's moveset, but luckily, I have the perfect defense. Offline mode. And thanks to that, Deacons go down. That'll teach you to cheat during my runs. I then use the souls that I earned to increase my attunement because I'm worried that later bosses may make me run out of FP. And then I made my way to Ithro of the Boreal Valley. And after conversing with the locals, somebody tells me they think this area is fire. Hello viewers, I'll be taking over as a spokesperson for this video. The original person had some issues to deal with. I then broke the illusionary wall and got the magic clutch ring. It increases my magic damage by 15%, but reduces absorption by 10%. Having 2 items equipped that lower my absorption doesn't seem ideal. Hopefully this won't be too bad. I then grabbed the undead bone shard, gotten by a dog, and made it to Ithro Dungeon. My travel advisor said this was a great place to lock yourself away from the stresses of life, and the locals sure seem loud. I go through the area to gather the jailbreaker's key, and opening the gate, I get the bellowing dragon crest ring, which increases sorcery damage by 20%. With all this increase to my damage, it's hard to see me having any more problems. I then grabbed the Estus shard, and okay, my travel advisor was probably smoking something when he wrote this place down. Maybe the profane capital will be better. Ooh, and a complimentary undead bone shard? How sweet. I then went through the back alleys of the profane capital and fought the sorcerer NPC. Yeah, that's his name. I tried to see if he had a different name on the wiki, but nope, he's just called Sorcerer NPC. Anyways, he got me down pretty low with his hammer, plus the fact that I got toxic on the way. But after stunning him with Great Heavy Soul Arrow, he goes down. And gives us the Logan Scroll. Giving the scroll to Orbit grants us 2 new spells, Soul Spear and Soul Mass. Soul Spear is just a much better Great Heavy Soul Arrow, as it shoots a magic spear at your enemies, and it can also pierce. And Soul Mass, a spell that summons small magic balls around the player that auto-targets any enemy that gets close to you. Me likey. I then pop some souls to increase my intelligence to 32 to use Soul Spear, and head back to Profane Capital. And after fighting this weird hand monster thing, I'm sorry, what is this thing? Can someone give me an explanation in the comments? And after killing the mimic, I got the Court Sorcerer's Staff, which is the best staff for magic. What is my research to back this claim? 1 Reddit post. But hey, when has Reddit ever been wrong? I then went around collecting upgrade materials for the staff, which led me to losing 20,000 souls. Yay! And also finding out that unless the giant is aggroed on you, it will take reduced damage when you hit it. Huh, you learn something new every day. And after my collection, I got my Court Sorcerer's Staff to +7. And look at that, already an S scaling in intelligence. This weapon will do nicely. Let's test it out on our next boss. Now Pontiff wasn't all that challenging, to be honest. Just dodge his attacks and find windows in between to hit him with a Soul Spear. And even when he goes phase 2, it's not all that challenging, because when the Pontiff tries to summon his clones, the piercing effect of the Soul Spear allows you to easily take them both down. And after showing Pontiff my Soul Spear sharpshooting, he goes down. After increasing my intelligence and showing how much superior DS3 spells are to DS2, I made it to Anar Londo. Man, the Kingdom of the Old Lords. This is going to be a perfect tourist spot. After grabbing the Estus Shard and killing the giant enemy spider, I fought Aldridge, Devourer of Gods. And for once, this guy is actually a problem. I mean, having a 65% absorption to magic will do that to you. I mean, I did try to see if there's any types of spells that did other types of damage, and while you can get dark spells, the boss has a 75% absorption to dark damage. So yeah, this is going to be a slog of a boss fight. But at the same time, even though it took me a couple of attempts, more attempts than I'd like to admit, it's not like the fight got any more mechanically difficult. All I did was just stay next to him, baiting out his melee attacks, and when he teleport, I would just go in the opposite direction to catch him mid-teleport so I don't have to deal with his magic attacks. So like, sure, the boss does take like a year to finish, but his patterns are still simple. Just gotta do it for a longer period of time. Even with this huge resistance to magic, punch a wall for long enough and it will eventually break. Aldred's down. I then used the souls to increase attunement to increase my spell slots to 4, and went back to Profane Capital to fight Yorm the Giant. I mean, I wouldn't really call this a fight, more of a massacre. I mean, with me being able to easily hit Yorm's head with my Soul Spear, allows for a lot of easy staggers. Add on the fact that the generous hitbox of Soul Spear means breaking Yorm's poise is super easy, leading to us getting a ton of damage off of repos. Man, it's crazy how Yorm can go from the easiest boss to the hardest boss depending on what build you're doing. Yorm down. And with that, we've reached the end game. Let's show these bosses our superior intellect. Let's see if the dancer can be a good match. She isn't. I mean, all I did was just stay back and spam Soul Spear, and her moveset doesn't really have a lot that can counter this strategy. Dancer down. I then dumped all my souls into intelligence and went to Lothric Castle. Ooh. Seeing the sights of the central castle, I had to get this in my scrapbook. And look at all these Titanite chunks. How thoughtful. After making it to the top, I fought the Dragon Slayer Armor. He wasn't too bad, since we're a ranged build and he has to come to us. And while I thought I could just spend my time firing spells from far away, we can't get too complacent because, yeah, stuff like that can happen. What also sucks about this fight is that the boss can just sometimes choose to not let you hit him, so he can just put up his shield to block your spells. So you will mostly be getting damage when he finishes an attack or if he whiffs. But after figuring out what moves I can use Soul Spear on, there's nothing much he can do. Dragon Slayer Armor, down. I then went to Firelink Shrine to upgrade my Court Sorcerer staff to +8, upgraded my character, and went to my next tour spot, the Grand Archives. You, my mortal enemy. Now fighting the Crystal Sage is pretty rough, since he'll teleport through the area making you chase him, and trying to get to him with all the items can be not a very good time. Like, really not a good time. But once we get to him, he's easy pickings. Oh, come on! Once you are there with him, you can actually use the tech from the Crystal Sage boss fight. Since he has a very predictable teleportation pattern, you can predict who it will be, allowing you to insta hit him with a Soul Spear, stunning him from using any of his spells. And after doing that a few more times, we take him down. And once killed, the Crystal Sage drops the Crystal Scroll. Giving this scroll to Orpek, we can now gain access to crystal spells, like Crystal Soul Spear, which is just stronger Soul Spear with a crystal effect, and Crystal Soul Mass, which is just stronger Soul Mass with a crystal effect. Spells have to be the biggest if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of spell, huh? So, a funny thing happened. When I was exporting all the footage for this video off my flash drive, one of the videos got corrupted. Yeah, we love technology, am I right? Now, I promise when I tell you, I tried to fix it, but nothing worked. So, instead of just skipping over the footage, I have a more unique way of showcasing what happened. Take it away, Bizzily. Thank you, Bizzily. So, because my recording got actually nuked off the face of the planet, we're gonna go through our little special presentation. You know, I got these little PNGs that I'll move around. You know, this is me. And actually getting into what happened during the Forgotten History. So after I got the crystal spells, I ended up going back to the Grand Archives so I could grab the Titanite slab for later. I then went back to Firelink Shrine and I went over to Andre and gave him the Titanite slab so he can make my staff +10. That damage increase is gonna be tasty. I then ran through the Consumed King's Garden and went and fought Osiris, the Consumed King. Now, from what I remember of this fight wasn't like too bad, like at all. I think he actually does have a magic resistance. I think it's like 50% from what I remember. But at the same time, it's Osiris. It wasn't really too bad of a boss fight. It did kind of get pretty bad at phase 2, where he was just kind of running around and like Crystal Soul Spear like kind of takes a bit to cast. Actually, no, I think this was like the first time that I was actually really able to use Crystal Soul Spear like in a fight. But and really, the spell is like really powerful, but it's really like hard on your FP. Like it absolutely chugs through your FP. So you have to like bring some supporting spells if you want to use this, or like come in with a lot of FP or FP juice. But you know, after some yeah, Osiris just kind of dies. He's really squishy. Osiris down. After the fight, I probably would have used the souls on leveling up my character, but again, the footage got nuked off the face of the planet, so I have no idea. But what I do know is after the fight, I went down the hallway and grabbed the Path of the Dragon emote. I then made my way to the unintended graves and fought Champion Gundyr. Now, Champion Gundyr, from what I remember, is not bad at all. I mean, he's a physical build, so he can, you know, run and try and jump and kick you all he wants, but he can't really do much against the old shoot from afar and hit you. I mean, unless he lunges at you, but other than that, he isn't too bad. Yeah, not really much else to say about this fight. I guess he has a funny little mask. It's a funny little mask, bro. And I think his lore is pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I think his lore is pretty cool. But yeah, all I did was really just pew! And yeah, he just kind of dies. I think I may have actually died to this fight at least one time, but I can't really fact check that because, you know, the footage is gone. So yeah, Gundyr get down. After the fight, I ran up to the Dark Firelink Shrine and grabbed the eyes of the Firekeeper, and then ended up giving them to the Firekeeper and Firelink Shrine. And that leads us to the end of our special presentation. So, back to you, Bizzily. Alright, thank you, Bizzily, for that glorious presentation. Let's see if the brothers liked that presentation as much as I did. Now, Lorien gave me a bit of trouble. It's the fact that Lorien does high damage coupled with the fact that he can teleport, making him super aggressive, making it pretty hard to find windows to attack. But nothing some good old shoot from a distance can't help, and that gets us to phase 2. Now, a really cool thing that I noticed is that if you aim your Crystal Soul Spear at just the right place, you'll be able to hit Lorien and have it pierce and hit Lothric on his back. And you know, it's the little stuff like that in boss interactions that make doing different builds so fascinating. It didn't stop me from getting curve stomped on my first run, but I locked in on my second run. Now, Lorien isn't hard to deal with, even coupled with Lothric's magic attack, but it's just the fact that Lothric is pretty resistant against spells, which makes the fight go on for way longer than it should. But after some good old double penetrating from Crystal Soul Spear, the brothers go down. Jesus, why did I put that in the script? I don't know who's worse, the owners of these resorts who falsely advertise these places as good places to relax, or my travel advisor, who keeps recommending me these places. What's worse is he stopped responding to my calls, and the only thing I'm having him is this list of best vacation spots in the area. But if I want answers, I guess I must press on. But first, how about a nap? Archdragon Peak, Land of the Dragons, and great place for relaxation, and great sightseeing. Something tells me that won't be true. I ran through the area and fought the Ancient Wyvern. I was initially worried that my spells wouldn't do enough damage, but luckily Crystal Soul Spear is no slouch when it comes to damage, when it's not getting targeted towards the floor. Like, how is this happening? And he did make me use all of my FP flask, but with some better aiming, we were able to take him down. This place does look nice, but I wonder why this list had this place next. Maybe this lever has something to do with it. That sure doesn't sound ominous. Jesus, where did this wind come from? And so we fight the Nameless King. But first, we have to kill his dragon. Jesus, man. I don't know what is up with this guy, but I feel like the King of Storm gets bullied in every run I do. Something tells me that the Nameless King didn't appreciate me killing his rideable chicken. Just a hunch. In the beginning of the fight, I was getting absolutely boxed by this guy. I don't know what it was, but for the life of me, I could not remember his moveset. Add on the fact that he started to input read my spells, dodge to the side, and counterattack. But after a bit, I finally locked in and remembered his moveset, and once that happened, he doesn't live for too long. Nameless King down. And again, our trail runs cold, and I'm no closer to figuring out who this travel advisor is and why he sent me on this path. But I have a feeling, if I make it through all these areas, I'll be able to meet him. Well, let's continue on. I use a soul from the Nameless King to increase my intelligence and head into the Painted World DLC. And come on, this travel advisor isn't even trying anymore. Man, I should have brought a coat. How is it supposed to be relaxing? But something tells me that isn't the point. I run through the area, making sure to kill the wolf twice on the way. I then went down the bridge ladder and fought Champion Gravetender. The fight was pretty easy. Thankfully, the Gravetender didn't decide to roll through all my spells, but just face tanked everything. And he even allowed me to kill him right when the wolf showed up, so I was able to 1v1 him. And yeah, there's not much the wolf can do when it's all by himself. Champion Gravetender down. After increasing my intelligence, I went to one of the main sites of the Painted World, the town. And wow, this place sure is something. I mean, the paper made this place seem a lot nicer, but honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. Literally every resort I've been to has not been up to standard. I don't know why I thought this would have been any different. I then fought Sir Wilhelm, and wow dude, really? The fight just started. Oh, come on, dude. You were literally just delaying the inevitable. See what I mean? Where did all that silence get you? Huh? I went to the rest of the resort, and yeah, this place is as dilapidated as they come. Oh my god, they even have a room overrun with flies. Ugh. When was the last time they cleaned it? After pulling the lever, it's time for the Sister Frida fight. And this fight had many problems, like first phase, because not only can she dodge my spells, putting a strain on my already limited mana pool, but she can also do this. Yeah. What's even worse is that you can't lock onto her while she is invisible, which led me to getting grabbed a lot more than I would like to admit. But after smacking her with Crystal Spear, we make it to second phase. And this is the easiest part of the fight, with the only challenge being trying to conserve as much FP as I can for the third phase, and you know, also trying not to get hit. But after spamming Crystal Spear, we make it to phase 3, Electric Boogaloo. Wait, now this phase did cause me a bit of trouble, and it was mostly because of just how much damage she was doing, or maybe just the fact that I was wearing 2 items that lowered my absorption. You know, just maybe. But other than that, the strategy is simple. Just play keep away and try not to get sliced or blasted. And after a hard-fought fight... Oh, you've got to be kidding me. And after allocating my Estus, Sister Frida goes down. I then went back to Firelink Shrine to transpose Osiris' soul to get a spell called White Dragon Breath. It's a spell that makes a line of crystals in front of you that does damage. Basically Crystal Soul Spear, but on the ground. I then went to the Drug Heap, and there's been something I've been thinking about. About the list of resorts to see in the area. Every single place I've been to has had some sort of entity, or has given me the strength to continue on to the next resort. But now really thinking about it, it almost feels like this list is some sort of a guide, and my travel advisor's leading me somewhere. Well, can't think about it for too long, because we got a couple of demons that need exterminating. Now, the twin demons. They weren't too hard, just the same old runaway and lava crystal soul spear at their face, but did end up getting blindsided by a poisonous explosion. But hey, greatness does not always come on the first try. Or the second. Or the third. But that fourth try, that's where the magic happens. I killed the demon from below last because I have an easier time with his moveset and fight the Demon Prince. And he wasn't bad, since this version of the Demon Prince has moves that allow me to get a ton of damage on him. And while he did get me sweating for a bit, I won't lie, but once he does the beam attack, the fight is basically over. Demon Prince down. After increasing my health, I went on the Demon Airlines. Okay, seriously guys, I have made multiple reports on your terrible service. If you don't fix it, I will be giving a low review. Oh my god. This place looks beautiful. I didn't think I would find a resort that actually lived up to the hype. It's called the Ring City. Oh, it's on the paper. It's the last thing on the paper. Huh. I think it's time to find out the truth behind this adventure. I go through the area, go up the tower, and hey, my dear! Okay, the bolt of lightning might not have been the best present looking back on it, but I promise you, this present will be great. Yeah, something tells me he really did not like my last present. Like, really did not like my last present. Like, dude, just take the present, man. Jeez, people just aren't appreciative of the people around them. I then went to the church and fought Half-Life Spear of the Church. Now this fight was going really well, and I thought it would be done quick, but the Painter Guardian decided to heal him. Man, why do I forget that he can do that? And then he decided to roll through all of my spells. No, yes, please, extend the boss fight for as long as possible. But then I realized Soul Greatsword absolutely bullies this boss, and he goes down. After exploring the area, I found this hole in the ground. Man, this seems pretty unsafe. I mean, who knows who could fall in here? Oh god, I finally reached the bottom. What's down here? Uh-oh. Now, Mania wasn't that hard of a fight. I fought him enough times to be able to easily dodge all of his moves. Mostly. The problem was just how long this fight took. I mean, turns out the guy has a 50% magic absorption, and that's just on his head. Try to hit him with a crystal spear anyone but his head, and you might as well have shot the spell into the floor with how much good it will do you. What also sucks is that since I have to use so many spells, I have to allocate pretty much all of my Estus to FP, which left me with pretty much no healing flask. But after a really long fight, and him using his laser attack, Mania goes down. I don't know why, but I just have a feeling that everything I've been questioning will be answered here, and I'm kind of scared. I mean, I feel like I've gotten so used to this journey that now that I have the answers at my fingertips, I can't bring myself to open the door. Maybe ignorance is better. What if opening that door will be akin to opening Pandora's box? What if I'm falling right into the travel advisor's hands? But I need to know. I just do. So let's finally end this. I run up the stairs and touch Leonore's egg, and what happened? Was the entire place an illusion? No, that can't be. Then how did she get so old? Something is going on.
What still here? Hand it over and your dark soul.
Wait, that voice! No, it can't be. The travel advisor? How? Why did you send me on this goose chase? And why are you pointing that sword at me? I think I get why you're doing this. You needed power. And what's more powerful than the souls of all the knights and champions in the continent? And that's where I came in. You just needed a sucker. A lackey. Someone you could just point in a direction and they would sprint. I was nothing more than a turkey that you could fatten up and eat later. But let me tell you one place where your plan goes wrong. By furthering your plan, you unintentionally gave me the tools to defeat you. Every area, every boss that you coerced me into killing has made me stronger. So much stronger than you can ever imagine. Far stronger than you can ever contain. So look up at the being that you spent all this time so meticulously perfecting. No longer your prisoner, no longer your lackey, but a sign of your undoing. You think yourself to be my final challenge, but no, I am yours. Man, all this fighting and look where it got me. In the middle of the desert at the end of the world. What was in the point in all this? I don't even know at this point. I think at one point I wasn't even doing it to find a resort. I just wanted to see what would happen. Just see where the journey went, and now that I did it, it doesn't feel all that satisfying. Like, I've done all this, but I don't feel like I've gone anywhere. I don't feel like I'm better off than when I shambled out of my coffin all that time ago. You know, now looking back on it, the Firelink Shrine was a lot more beautiful than I gave it credit for. Not because it was the most beautifully built or gave the best experience, it was because it housed all the people I met throughout my journey. And now that I'm fighting here for the flame, I think back and wish I'd spent more time there. That I spent less time chasing this dream resort and actually spending real time with the people close to me. Because we only have one life, so we gotta make the most of it. And that was Dark Souls 3, beaten with only sorceries. I'm honestly not too shocked with how easy the game became when doing sorcery only. I mean, it's crazy how people will cry for an easy mode when something like this is in the game. I mean, these games can be as easy or as hard as you want them to be. You just have to be willing to use the tools that the game gives you. I was really fascinated by the way magic completely changed the way how I played the game. Whether that be seeing what bosses were super resistant to magic, or how the piercing effect of Soul Spear has a unique interaction against the bosses. Cause, like I said, that's the main reason that I like doing these type of runs. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell to be notified of any future videos that I make. I also want to thank you for watching the video. It truly does mean a lot. And also, have a great day.